Hello and welcome to the Daily Gas for August 11th, 2025, called Pattern. What Pattern? By Philip Newman. So it seems that patterns are have been a lie. It's been a red herring the whole time. So what are we supposed to glean from that? Well, it means our guessing game is in trouble. Um, we did. We did incorrectly figure out the variant for today. We thought that it would be arrow, but we could understand how it could be even sandwich, and I guess we should have flipped those around and said we thought it was even sandwich, but it could have been arrow. So we'll talk more about the guessing game as once we actually solve the Sudoku. For now, let's look at this variant, which I don't actually remember if we've done before. Normal Sudoku rules apply, even sandwich. The clues outside the grid indicate all digits which have two even digits as immediate neighbors in the corresponding row or column. All such digits are clued. If a digit is not clued outside the grid, then it does not have two even immediate neighbors in that row slash column. So what does that mean? Well, this 5 here at the top of the grid tells us that somewhere in the column there is a 5. Let's just, for convenience, say here. And that 5 has two even digits as its neighbor. So let's say 2 here. What that means, though, is because all digits are clued, that means that 5 is the only digit in this column that has two even digits around it. And of course, we're not just looking at odd digits. Here you can actually see a 4 and 6. So even digits can have even neighbors. It's just something you have to consider here in your solve, right? And Philip does add a little clarification. The clues do need to indicate two even neighbors, not all their neighbors are even. So, for example, if this cell here, row 1, column 1, was odd, let's say 1. I guess it could also have been even, but let's just use 1 for the example here. And this was a 4, let's say. Then what would happen is this wouldn't count. This wouldn't be clued. Even if this was the exact state of the board magically, this does not have two even neighbors in the grid. You don't get a little like wraparound or something like that here. So something to watch out for. And any of these little dashes means no digit has two even neighbors. So let's say we solved it and we found this was a 2, then this could never be 4, 8, because if it was 4, 8, then 7 would have to be clued at the top of the grid. All right, so lengthy rule explanation there, a little bit of jabbering at the beginning about the guessing game, but it's it's a lot to take in. So hopefully it all made sense. Those are the rules. Let's jump right into it. All right, so this is an interesting variant. I think I have some idea of how to think about it, at least with these double evens. I don't know about the rest of it, but the double evens gives me some ideas because here, for example, 2, 4, we know 4 has to be neighbored by an even digit. So what even digit could go here? And I think there's only one way to make it so two even digits have two even neighbors. Because like let's say we placed an 8 here instead, then how could we place a 6 anywhere in this grid so that it has two even neighbors? So I think what has to happen is this has to be 6 here and this has to be 8 here. There you go. You have two even digits with two even neighbors, and no other digit could ever possibly have two even neighbors. And I think the same is true here. This will be 4, the opposite. It's not perfectly x-windmill. It looks like we have pretty decent x-windmill symmetry here, but we do fall apart with the 5, 3, 7, 9. So considerations to make. Um, I guess the next thing would be looking at the 4, 6 here, 4, 6 here. If the only way to do this is if we're if our 4, 6 pair is surrounded by 8 and 2, right, sandwiched by 8 and 2, then I think this has to be 4, 6 because there's no way it could grow downwards. So this would have to be 4, 6 here in some order, and this would have to be 2. This would have to be 4, 6 in some order, and this would have to be 8. We know all the rest of these are odds. Doesn't really help us. It'd be nice if we could just say, yep, 9 will go right here. Um, but it doesn't really help. There's no sandwiches we have to avoid because at this point it is impossible for anything to get sandwiched. I guess. Oh well, here's something. This is an interesting pattern. We've seen this before with like what have we seen it with before? Like palindromes, for example. I think we had. Um, oh my goodness. Was it Tom's puzzle? Tom's puzzle. I can't remember what it was called, but Tom, walking writer, he sent us a puzzle, and I think it had something like this. We also got a puzzle from, um, oh my goodness, from 24 a while back that had a similar sort of thing. But anyways, I'm trying to think back to old puzzles here, but 246, 246, they point this way, so then actually we know that this is 4, this is 6, this is 2. So that's going to give us some good information because now we know that 8 has a lot of freedom in this row. Like 8s could go in any of these cells here and never cause an even sandwich. Actually, that's not true. Sorry. 8. Oh, this is interesting. 8 couldn't go here because if it did, there are no more even digits, so we'd have a sandwich. All right, sorry, we'll get back to that in a moment because we can actually use this pattern to help us the rest of the way here. 4, 6, 8, 4, 6, 8. We get 4, 8, and 6 in the corner. The 8s give us 8 in these two cells, 4 in these two cells. If 4, okay, then that's the thing, right? We know that this is 4, 6, so 4, right? 4 can't go here or here, so this must be 4. And then that means that this must be the 8. And can we do the same thing here with 2, 6? 2, 6, we know this can't be 2, 6 here, so 6 must go here, and this will be the 2. And now we know no matter how the odds are placed, nothing will sandwich. And then 8, here we go. And now that's how we do it. 8 here. 8 here gives us 8 here. 2 does the same thing. We get 2 here, a little box in the corner here, and we get 2 there. So far our exponential is coming in handy, but it's not going to hold up for the rest of the time here. What we can do though is 3 gives us 3 in these two cells, and 3 in these two cells gives us 3 here. 7, which is the equivalent, gives us 7 here, and 7 here gives us 7 there. And actually, did I miss that? I did miss that. 3 gives us 3, 7 gives us 7. So we're getting a good chunk of digits. 1, 3, 5. 3 now can give us that, right? The 3, 7. Sorry, of course, we get the 3, so give us the 7. 1, 5. 5, 9. This is 1, this is 9. This is 5, 9, which we also have here. 1, 5, which we also have here. It's a good chunk of digits. 8, where does 8 go? 8 has to go here. And it wouldn't, without this, it wouldn't have actually mattered. It wouldn't have broken the even sandwich, so we couldn't have used that even if we wanted to. This is 7. This will be 3, and this will be 2. This is 2 here. Then 8 is here, right? 3. Where does 3 go then? Either 3 goes here with 6 here, or 3 goes here with 6 here. Which actually might make more sense because how would we sandwich a 9? Because we know this is even. So, and we know all of these actually have to be odd. So, because this has to be even. Sorry, I'm just trying to think through this. I think the only way for this to work is if we have the odd digits here with the even digits here. But let me really make sure. 9. 9, I was like trying to see, and honestly there really aren't that many combinations. This is going to be even even. So either 9 goes here with 6 here, 9 goes here with 6 here, which is not possible. So yes, sorry. This is so much easier than I was making it out to be. This will be the 3, this will be the 5, this will be the 7, this will be 1 in the center. This is 4 here and 6 here. That gives us 6, 4, and we get 4, 6. It's all coming together. Next part of it is what are we missing that we can place? 3, there we go. And then the 7, and there's our broken symmetry. 7, 3, 1, 9, 9, and 1. Then 5 gives us 5, 1, 1, 1. What are we missing? 5 and 3. So this will be 5, 3, 5, 9, 7, 7. Oh, we'll do the 5, 9. And to finish this off, we're just missing another 9. And we are done in 8 minutes and 43 seconds with Pattern? What Pattern? By Philip Newman. All right, so doing this a little early because I'm trying to get this done before the day starts. So what do I even think it can be? Um, it just Philip's being mischievous here. There's probably something intelligent because I'm on a bit of a time constraint. I don't really have the time to play around with this as much as I would like. Um, because I don't want you guys sitting here for like 10 plus minutes while I try to figure this out. My gut tells me that a distance Sudoku could be reasonable. Like I could understand it could be a distance Sudoku. I could see it being, let's see, a normal Sudoku. It could just be a plain old normal Sudoku. It could be Windoku. It could be parody skyscrapers. I don't even know why that would make sense. Um, could be a double Latin square. We saw Latin squares not too long ago. Um, folks, what am I even supposed to guess here? Um, I'm just gonna list a ton of variants plus minus Sudoku. Let's see. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Maybe we have a lot more that doesn't make sense than we realized. Products off by 1. Lonely number Sudoku, don't know what that is, but 1 is the loneliest number that you'll ever know. A unique rectangle Sudoku. Of course, 2 can be as sad as 1. It's the loneliest number since the number 1. Maybe we'll have fuzzy arrows. I thought it was going to be arrows today. Maybe we'll have fuzzy arrows tomorrow. Um, yeah, there's a ton of interesting options, but I don't want to waste any more time here. It could be maybe this. Actually, maybe this could make sense. It could be a fortress Sudoku. Could be inside skyscrapers. Maybe it's a fortress inside skyscrapers Sudoku. All right, ton of crazy guesses here. I think the most reasonable in my mind would be distance Sudoku. The next most reasonable would be like a classic or a Windoku. And then after that, I could understand a fortress or an inside skyscrapers, or maybe a combination of both. So let's stick with distance, with all the rest of those variants that I mentioned being, things that wouldn't necessarily surprise me, but I'd be a little sad. I'd be a little sad. Philip's gonna make me cry, but it's fine. We'll work through it. So with that, all the jokes aside, hopefully you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.